This is the meeting Wednesday, October 25th for the Auburn Water District Board of Trustees. We have a motion to approve the minutes of September 20th.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, any questions on that? All in favor? Okay, that is good. All right, do I have a motion to go into executive session in accordance with MSRA 405-6E to discuss a legal matter?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Great. Then we're going to have a second one as well.
All right, it's 4:49. You're out of executive session.
Okay, I have a motion to go back into executive session, MSRA 405-6C, to discuss a personnel matter.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We are in executive session.
All right, we're out of executive session. Jason will be right back.
We are out of executive session. All right, we're going to go ahead and keep moving forward on the agenda. Jason will be back in a minute. Financial report.
All right, financial reports. Billed meter revenue is up $99,000. That's great. The month ended with cash on hand at $2.9 million, which is $538,000 lower than the month prior. Again, we paid a bunch of our bond payments, and we're wrapping up our construction season, so we're spending money. The remainder of the year, we tend to slow down on construction, and we don't have any more big bond payments, so we'll generally recover from that. So, but overall, we're in good shape on our water reports.
Great. Okay, ratify the payment of
I
bills.
move that we ratify the payment of bills.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, 4-0, where it's 4-0, with Jason being out of momentarily. Public comment, Steve?
Yes, Steve, thank you. I had a question. I talked to Mike before the meeting about the watershed boundary map, which I know that the city is working on its own version, but this map here that outlines the watershed boundary, all the maps have been developed from information and data prepared by the Drinking Water Group.
Nope, from CDM Smith.
Or CDM Smith,
Yep.
okay, and approved by the Drinking Water Group. Who actually did the graphics on this?
That map, the graphics there were done here in this office. Yeah.
Okay, with the data
From CDM
provided
Smith.
from CDM Smith,
Correct.
which has that data then been approved independently by the Drinking Water Group?
It was approved by the drinking water program and then given to us, and we created that map with that shape file. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so that was actually done in-house here.
Yep.
Okay, and the other question I had related to the packet materials, which refers to this memo from the ad hoc committee to several different parties. And in the, attached to the memo are proposed ordinance revisions, which the Auburn Planning Department and then the council will be dealing with. And on the very first page in the definitions, someone has handwritten in on the definition of the Watershed Protection Commission, the additional entries of the towns of Minot, Hebron, and Buckfield, who were not parties to the original interlocal agreement and weren't members of the Watershed Protection Commission. The town of Turner is, and only the town of Turner was named as a party in interest in the suit. And to my understanding, those three towns, while they have a commissioner on the Watershed Protection Commission, and while they are certainly part of them in the watershed as shown on the map, they aren't actually members of the interlocal agreement or have any other standing on the Protection Commission. They have a representative, Glenn Holmes, who coincidentally is employed by the city of Auburn as its development director, lives in.
So what's your question?
So the question is, why are these three towns shown, technically, it says that they were formed as a result of an interlocal agreement between the city of Lewiston, the Auburn Water District, and the town of Turner, which is true. Why are the three handwritten entries of Minot, Hebron, and Buckfield added to that?
The three entries were put in because the intentions of some of these ordinance revisions is to then apply them to the upper watershed towns, being Minot, Hebron, and Buckfield. I think your point is well taken, that the placement of those three names doesn't belong necessarily right there, but the intent was to make sure that it outlined the work of the ad hoc committee is not done. They want to get these first enacted in Auburn
Yes.
and then pursue enactment in the upper watershed towns.
Try to convince the upper
Right.
watershed towns, Turner
Right.
being the principal one, but these other three.
These other
but
three
I
are-
just
Yep.
think it's misleading or frankly inaccurate.
Nope, point taken. Yep.
Okay,
Is that it, Steve?
that's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, activity report. Yeah, give us the important stuff, okay, Matt?
Yeah, activity report, most of the projects are wrapping up. We were looking to move forward with Taylor Pond. We decided to hold on to that due to some of the turnover that we talked about and due to the season. Also, some of this main runs right in close proximity to gardens, retaining walls, rock walls, driveways. Yeah, to the tune of probably about 200 feet of pavement.
Block
so-
driveways and asphalt driveways.
Exactly. Yep, so we plan on holding on that.
So you're gonna hold on that.
Yeah,
And that is a seasonal main. It begins normally May 1st. So it may begin, construction maybe in April?
I think to get everything lined up with what we have now, it'll probably be best to look for the fall of next year to move forward with that.
So a full year ahead?
Yeah.
Move it a whole year ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. And then as far as the activity report, again, winding down a lot of projects. You see the gate work. Not really much to note outside of normal monthly activity reports.
Does anybody have any questions they want, that they see on the activity report, or anything they want to address with Mike? Matt, sorry. We just dealt with a lot of mics.
Okay.
All right, great. Let's move on then. We're gonna move on to old business. Mike,
All right.
the water quality?
I was skimming through these. So water quality is actually really good right now. Turbidity
Right.
has trended below average. Your temperature in your lake is dropping substantially in the last few weeks. We're getting into our cooler temperatures and our better water quality, so we're in good shape. We made it through the summer and we're looking good.
Great. Nice cold winter and we'll be in good
I
shape.
would love, we get ice over November 15th.
It can
Come on
snow in the
till
mountains,
June,
how about
yeah,
that?
yeah.
That's what I want.
Watershed boundary discussion, I just included into your packets a copy of the ad hoc committee memo, which encompasses with it the ordinance revisions being looked at by the city of Auburn. It also covers the watershed boundary that was approved by the drinking water program, so that's all in your packets. At this time, not much to discuss, but more than likely at our November meeting, which is November 15th, not on the bottom of this note it says November 22nd, it's actually the 15th next month, we will likely have a vote on that boundary. So,
Can you put some sort of a notice out that lets everybody know that the meeting's the 15th,
Yep.
not the 22nd?
Yep, I will
Because
do
of
that.
Thanksgiving?
Yep.
Thank you. Wherever we're by rule, we have to post. Let's get all that stuff posted.
okay.
All right, watershed boundary discussion?
Yeah, I think I covered that, and the ad hoc group, I think we're good there. The next
Okay.
thing we have is commissioner appointment. So,
Yeah.
I've
I
got,
In our packet, we've got Evan Seer.
yep, and then if
Um,
you want to pass these around,
I'll just point out, just for Steve's, Evan has got a lot of family stuff and other things going on, and he would rather not do it. So he was if we find our other applicant,
Brad?
yeah, if we find the other applicant acceptable, Evan would prefer if we not appoint him, because he's got a lot on his plate.
He had, the commission asked him if he wanted to re-up, and he kind of left it as he didn't really want to. He had a lot going on, he stated what Steve said. He did not submit papers, so basically his term has expired. It expired in, actually at the end of August. So right now, we have a vacancy in this appointment. There is a commission meeting on the 8th of November. So we have a vacancy here, and we've got 2 people who have since submitted papers. So I leave it to the
Is that right?
No,
board.
we only have one.
Oh, wait a minute.
You had the Evans here in your packet, and then I just handed around.
Yeah, yeah, oh, just one additional person besides
Okay,
Evan.
I've seen
Correct, so, right, okay.
You've got Evan and Brad.
Anybody have any comments on, we know what Evan's situation is, we all know Evan. Did anybody have any comments on Brad?
41 First Street, live by the house, don't know which one it is.
I could tell you
If you
that.
saw Brad, you probably go, oh,
Brad's
Yeah,
currently
just
on
need
the
to-
sewer board.
He is.
Brad's currently on the
No.
sewer board as well. And if I'm not mistaken, he lives off Hersey Hill, doesn't he? So he's, I think he also has, if I'm not mistaken, he's got a background in septic.
He worked in a wastewater treatment plant down
Right.
in Mass, I believe, for
I think
quite a
it-
tenure, yeah.
Right, so he's got a lot of interest and a lot of knowledge, and he's very interested in doing this. He's reached out to me just to say, hey, I'm excited about this opportunity, and you know, he seems to be the type of person that would be a good fit for it, and is coming in with the right.
I make a motion that we appoint Brad Crosby to,
Protection Commissioner.
Do we have a second on that?
Auburn Water District appointee.
Okay, now let's have, anybody have any additional comments, questions that they have on that nomination?
Do we have a second?
Yep, Jason seconded.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, Bob's worked with him for a couple of months, he seems like a good guy. So, all in favor? Good?
All right, while we're voting on appointments, our finance director resigned from the district. She was our clerk. Can we get a motion and a second to appoint our accounts payable employee, Cindy Cass, to be clerk of the water district on an interim basis until we replace the finance role?
So moved.
Second.
And she'll be able to accomplish that task in a,
Yep.
in a.
Okay, yep, comments, so Bob's, you're confident? Bob says, yes?
Yeah, as long as she can accomplish the new role within her.
Her normal 40 hours a week.
It's temporary, yeah,
Good question.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's temporary until when again? Is that correct?
We
Was
fill
it
our
motion?
financial services role. Yeah.
Or, would that be if we decide, because we're gonna have another discussion here about
Right,
potential things, so we might, this could be a permanent role for her, or would that be something that if we
It
do
would
the
either
other
be-
role?
It'd be either customer service manager, or she could continue on as this, but yeah,
Okay,
for now, I'd just like to keep it
yep,
temporary. So.
okay, that's fine. All in favor? Okay, passed.
Thank you.
All right,
All right,
that brings us draft budget.
all right, I'm gonna pass around a copy for everybody if you wanna take one and pass it
This is
around.
public info, correct?
Yep, this is the
Okay,
first.
so we got an extra one for Steve?
Thank you, Tim.
Again,
Wow.
we have been shorthanded over the last couple of months with our financial services. So there are a couple of errors in the wording within this draft budget,
He's got one.
but for the most part, this budget is, the numbers are reflected correctly. We have put in a 3.2% COLA, that's what the Social Security Index has approved. Again, that's just a placeholder in here. As we progress throughout the year, that's something that's determined by the trustees. We have added our new bond payment for our Vector truck that we're purchasing. Again, that's a 0% loan for a 10-year term. It's a $32,000 a year payment for 10 years that we're going to be making. There is an increase in the commission budget this year. That has not been voted on just yet. I actually just got some new figures today. They're looking at kind of a hefty increase as 23.5%. Right now, I've only carried a 5% increase in this budget. Their next meeting is in 2 weeks, and I'm not sure where this will go. They may trim this down some, but right now that's to be determined. We do have $1 million in capital as a placeholder in here. I think you've heard us talking. There may be we may have to shift our priorities from main replacement next year because we have a big federal requirement to get in compliance with the lead and copper rule improvements. We are going to do quite a bit of main replacement. The city of Auburn, we've got work to do on 2nd Street. They're going to be doing 4th Street. We've got to do Dunn Street still, wrap up a piece of that. There's going to be a big paving project on Hotel Road that likely will have 40 to 50 water gates that's going to need to come up. But the remainder of our capital money more than likely will go towards investigating service lines to complete our inventory before October of 2024.
Okay.
But we need to just understand that.
That requirement was unforeseen when we started allocating how much capital we need to put in. That was something
Yeah.
recently done, right, with this change?
This was basically came about at the end of 2023. They announced it, but they gave you they didn't give you, what are you gonna do? There was no description of the changes or the requirements. As 2024 is developed, they're becoming more and more clear of what we're gonna have to do, and it's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna be a big effort. So, and it's happening nationwide.
Costly.
So that's what I've got in here for now. One of the other things that we've kind of shifted in the past 2 years, we've been doing these retention bonuses. I would like to shift that program from a retention bonus. 2 years ago, we had $3,200 in there that was dispersed quarterly increments to all employees. Last year, we voted and approved $2,000 in quarterly increments. I'd like to change that into an incentive program. Matt and I, in our evaluation of our staff and everybody here, we're finding that we're actually a little behind the curve on having the proper licenses. We're required to have water operators licenses, distribution licenses, treatment licenses, commercial driver's license, CDLBs, A's. We need to have tanker endorsements for some of the equipment that we run. And we want to make sure that all of our staff is where they need to be to operate our equipment safely, effectively, and to the betterment of the public health. So having this incentive program will help acknowledge those who have met that requirement, and then we'll give credit to those who can work towards getting that, and then expanding their education and bettering us by getting more qualifications. If you're a water operator and you go and get your sewer license, there's some incentive for that. So I do have that drafted up, and I will have that in your packets for November, where we can discuss that and do that. So that's in here. Again, just a placeholder. Take these. I'm going to email this to Andy and Dan, and that way, if anyone has any comments, email me, call me, whatever you want to do, and we'll try to get this in better shape for November, and then ultimately get them voted in joint meetings in December. So
Did you already email this in the packet, that email?
this was not in the packet. I just got this today.
Okay.
So I will email this tomorrow to Dan and Andy, and I can email all of you, so you have it electronically. Okay, I will do that.
That's great. I mean, I think that's originally what we had wanted with all those bonuses was something along that. We just we just gave it away, so.
I think there was also a lot on the plate to deal with at that time.
At that time, yes. All right, so that gets us, anybody, before we move on, anybody have any initial comments or questions on the budget? Or do we want to take it some time to peruse it, come up with thoughts, and we're going to have another discussion on the 14th, I assume, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and we can have we'll have a question and answer period at that point? Does that work for everybody? Okay. All right, proposal for financial services.
All right, last month I had mentioned that we were going to take a look at how we accomplish our financial requirements here at the district. In the past, we used to sub out the financial work to Maine Water Company, and we had a full-time customer service manager who managed the front office and the staff in the office. At a certain point, the Maine Water Company, their employee was retiring, and our employee customer service manager stepped up, had been going to night classes and took on that extra role. But we took a 40-hour-a-week position and we added 30 hours a month to that, and I just don't think that's sustainable. So in the last month, Matt and I have submitted to 3 different entities who can perform these types of services. We went to the City of Auburn, we went back to Maine Water Company, who we had used in the past, and we also went to this Maine Rural Water Association. Maine Water Company declined. They don't have enough staffing on hand right now to take this on. I did, just at the beginning of this week, I did get a proposal from the City of Auburn, but that wouldn't be able to take into effect until the first of the year. And there's some other concerns I have. We would have to converge all of our customer information over into another platform.
Over to Munis.
And over to Munis, and we'd have to transfer all of our other stuff. And it might create more work in a transition where I think it might be too soon to jump into something like that. Maine Rural Water, they came in and they presented to Matt and I, and immediately I felt like this is the decision we have to make. They're a nationally recognized association. They're actually based out of Richmond. They have about 25 employees. They do have 3 dedicated just to financial services. They actually do what we're asking for 7 other water entities in the state. Maine Rural Water does a lot of interesting work. You could hire them to rewrite your terms and conditions. You could hire them to do a rate case for you. You could hire them to do basically any aspect that we do here. They have really good staff. They're very professional. I really feel like if they come in here, they may be able to make a lot of efficiencies. They may really get us in a place where we're planning for capital projects long range. We're in a better financial place. I feel like it's a good move for us. The proposal, we did increase the hours from what we used in the past because I do want to put more emphasis on capital planning. We've got aging buildings, we've got tanks, reservoir sites, booster stations. We need to start building that stuff into a capital plan and planning for it on an annual basis, so we don't get surprised when the roof collapses and we got to jump and fix it. So we bumped that up to 44 hours. The rate is actually less than what we were paying Maine Water several years ago. But yeah, I don't know if anybody has any questions on this. The sewer board did. They unanimously voted last night to move forward with this. I'd like to answer your questions, and I hope.
I figured it out. It's about $5,800 a month with no benefits, no FICA, no Medicare, none of that other stuff, no workman's comp.
70,000.
70 grand a year. I mean,
What's required of our staff to assist them? Like, do we have an estimate of the?
Really, this person's going to be assisting our staff. I don't think it's not going to be any different than what the interaction is right now. I think actually it's going to work the other way for us. This is going to assist our staff.
you commented last night about some of the things that you've concerned that you're not sure of about credit cards and things like that client customers, that these guys are going to be able to take a look at our processes like that and make sure that we're
Right now,
securities and cyber securities and things like that are tight.
we have we spend 60 grand a year for our Northern Data System, which is our customer service database. We have QuickBooks, we have asset management, we have work order systems. None of these things are on the same platform or work together. And they were immediately like, you could use this and then you don't have to have that, and you could use this, and when we do this and all these other utilities, it'd save you money, and it would be so much easier to use, and it just was like,
Almost paid for itself.
Yeah, and I think with Mike, taking over, being the new superintendent, there's been a long period of time where we had a previous generation of people running things that Mike is now of the next generation, sort of the IT generation, so I think it's good.
Have you talked to any of the other 7 entities that use them? Or?
I didn't, but the one thing I do have is in some of my previous employments, I've hired Maine Rural Water. Kirsten Hebert, who's their current director, she's an attorney, and she used to be Maine Rural Water's attorney. I've actually hired her to do rate cases, and I've hired her to do terms and condition revisions. So I personally have working experience with them. And it's been very positive, professional, and they get it done on time and on budget with what they propose.
And there's no set, we're not contracting
No
for a period of
That's what I
time.
was just gonna ask.
So I think
Next is-
Did you get a cost for the city alternative?
I'm just gonna say that on the city side, I know what's going on over there, and I don't think that's the right time for us to go that way. Just from, Jill is at the very end of her career, and they're in the process of trying to retrain some folks and everything else. And everything's fine over there, but this would be a big project.
So do we just need a motion to
Mike.
accept this proposal, or is there more discussion on it?
Do you need more? I don't.
My concern is that if, like you said, it's temporary, and if we're planning on learning more about what the direction the city goes in the future, and if the cost is lower to us, we may want to just put it all on the table and not just like have it go into it and not have it be known that that's a possibility down the road.
We have a draft MOU with the city that they did provide to me, and it was gonna be for 50 grand a year. We have to figure out a lot of things like the Munis stuff. I really feel like that's not out of the realm of possibility. I feel like we get main raw water in here now, we're gonna get ourselves into ship shape, and it'll be so much easier in the future if we say 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road, 2 years down the road, if we wanna make that shift at that time, then it'll make much more sense and be a lot easier. But right now, where we've had turnover twice in this position, and
Can you put on their list of stuff to see if they're familiar with Munis? If they understand it, and if they don't, that perhaps they can do some evaluation of Munis to see if we're gonna be evaluating our IT infrastructure,
And going through a change, and
adopting
opening up
some
all
of
the,
that.
pulling out all the stops and trying to convert to modern era, at least knowing the two all,
Yeah, that, and maybe perhaps they could help us in that conversion and still stay,
Given the deficiency in staff or whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
it's something we should probably do.
feels
We're-
like an immediate need to me
Yeah,
too.
yeah, do it and take a load off.
yeah,
All
we're
right.
gonna need them to get our budget through this year.
So let's get a motion in a second, and then we can have any additional comments.
I make a motion that we accept the proposal from.
Can I get a second?
What are they?
Maine Rural Water Association.
Maine Rail Water Association. Second.
Okay, and so we've had a number of comments. Does anybody have anything else? Any other questions, comments that they want to?
Looks good.
All right, take a vote. All in favor? Okay, that's 5-0. No nays.
Thank you guys very much.
Okay. Anybody, trustee open session. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say? Okay. Then take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All right, hey! We're adjourned.
I'm in favor of adjournment.
All right, good. All in favor?
All in favor?
Oh!
Do it again.